Watch out, here I come.
And they said, we have to do something like drapes or something because the light eventually affects it. And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Wow.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it? Do you think he knows what it is?
What did he even say? Please welcome everyone to. Okay, this is the American Rail Club live stream. I'm sorry, I forgot this. I didn't know this was the United Airlines lounge over here. Okay, I thought I got kidnapped today, but guess not. Welcome aboard, everybody, and welcome aboard to the April Fool's edition of the American Rail Club. This is not the Hyperloop Club. This is the American Rail Club. Okay, there we are. We're all live. We're live. We are indeed live. I hope everybody enjoyed that one. This is brought to you today by United Airlines. Exclamation mark. It's not by United Airlines. But behind me, you can see my assortment and arrays of stuff over here. Actually, let me see if I can put up the webcam over here, and then we'll get this started. We can just talk about whatever today, but we can bring in the let's see. Here we go. Where's the nope. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm the April Fool today, but hey, apparently I've been told that the baseball bats are a little too much, so there we go. That's been resolved. So my assortment of ways to make America's railroads great again devices are there. So that will be happening at some point. We need a dark make America's railroads great again. That's got to be something. Okay, everybody, welcome aboard. It is your conductor on this wild and wacky ride, Demetriusville. I hope you all are doing well on this April Fools, and I hope you guys didn't get too fooled today. I mean, the way the economy is going, the worst thing you can get is like a pink slip, and then it's just like, you'll die of a heart attack before then. Alrighty, but I mean, let's just go over a couple things that have just gone on. Let me see if I can do it within 5 minutes just to give you guys some topics. And then, of course, if you all join on board on the YouTube channel, on the link below, on the description, you can be able to join in on Discord, be able to share links, articles. Heck, you can share them here on YouTube. Let's see who's on here. Gregory Zhukov, Adam Bucer, Ricardo Noel, got David Mitchell, Minor Tree Dump Trucker, Adam everywhere, and a couple other people here on Discord. Welcome aboard. We will just go in to see. But yeah, tomorrow is Liberation Day. Liberation Day. It wasn't gonna be today, according to the president. The best president, most wonderful president. I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyway, tomorrow is Liberation Day because it would not fall on April 1st because it was April Fool's. That's literally what he said, if you guys remember. 25% duties on foreign-made cars and trucks beginning April 2nd. Wow, this is good. You know what? The car industry is about to burn in more ways than one, it seems. And no, I don't mean just Tesla, but that's certainly something that's happening. But now, I mean, with everything going on, we talked about this before with Honda now moving what they were planning production down in Mexico. Now they're moving it and expanding in Indiana, the production they already have there. And other places are also doing it as well. Other companies are doing it. Hyundai as well announced $20 billion investment in the United States. Now, how much these investments, how real they are, who knows? Because a lot of these companies will go ahead and say, hey, it's we're going to invest whatever so amount of money in here, and then their stock will go up. They never really do that, and, well, that was a good way to pump the stocks up. But let's see. But they have a $5.8 billion Louisiana facility, $5.8 billion Louisiana facility will be the car manufacturer's first steel manufacturing facility in the United States, producing more than 2.7 million metric tons of steel a year, create more than 14,000 jobs. Let's see it happen. To supply steel to auto plants in Alabama and Georgia. That'll be interesting to see. But look, we're all for the reindustrialization here of the United States. It's the most important thing, honestly, that can be happening right now for this country. More important than anything else, for the sake and the betterment of this country, we need to reindustrialize. Okay, we're not going to have trains. We're not going to have any good infrastructure. We're not going to be able to build anything if we cannot build it here. Okay, and that's for any sort of sake. So yeah, look, it's this is something that's hopefully will be happening. You know, it doesn't matter who it is or who is. It's as long as we're having American jobs over here for Americans. Okay, not according to the Cato Institute, which I'm not going to even respond to how. By the way, I don't know if you guys have heard about what the Cato Institute said about bringing manufacturing back into the United States. You can go ahead and look it up. That pissed me off. Pretty much, that's a Vivek tier comment. Actually, probably lower than what Vivek said, because that said the quiet part out loud. So yeah, these people hate you. They don't want you to have jobs, more or less. They want to just take over the country and just continue to parasite off the country. Now, this is the country, this is the nation, this is people. We need to have a way for them to be able to not only work, but to feel that there's some sort of worth, that there's something that they're doing here. But yeah, it's going to change the automotive industry as a whole. Which, look, I hope so, because there's a massive need for a change in it. It needs to happen. Not just burning up Teslas, which is it's funny. It's not good for people who own Teslas, and honestly, it's really silly. Honestly, the whole entire thing is just silly. But hey, you gotta smile sometimes. You gotta enjoy. You gotta enjoy. Not enjoy it, but I mean, it's just fun times all around. Okay, you gotta enjoy the decline somehow. The decline, and at some point we will see the incline at some point. But Mazda is not having a good time, which hey, Mazda, it's not the only car that they make over here is a CX-50, which funny enough I rented a couple months ago for a company function to go ahead and drive, because driving through the snow with my car through a snowstorm is kind of a nightmare. But yeah, it's a one American-built model. The CX-50 might see a sales bump, especially since Mazda launched a new version last year, which is not a bad car. It's kind of like a Subaru Forester or an Outback or something like that. It's still a crossover, but at least look, it was built nice and whatever. So that's good. I wish they built more over here, but hey, it's Oh well, I mean, it's just what it is. But we need a big fix over here. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm going through this real quick. I'm almost there, almost there, almost there. All right, there you go. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Tucker Carlson podcast, but there's some things on there that are pretty interesting. Particularly this one caught my algorithm because it's all filled with um, cars, gats, and other stuff, and that just popped up there. But yeah, look, American cars have not been built well for quite some time. And this guy here, Casey Pooch, you've kind of seen him if you have on YouTube, but he built a car, a diesel car, that can be able to go possibly on one tank between New York and Las Vegas if it had a larger tank, but Los Angeles, from LA to New York. And this sort of thing has been done before. I mean, I believe Cummins back in the 1910s or like to the New York Auto Show just basically took one of their cars and just on in one go without, it just stopped for Phillips, just went over all the way to New York City. So, diesel engines are pretty, they're very efficient. Audi, I think, had like a car that was possible. It could get 100 miles per gallon. Again, these are not like the best looking cars, but they're very aerodynamic and this sort of stuff. But anyway, just going into how the auto industry has just gone to crap, which it has. It really has, and we need to be doing a lot better. We can be doing much better cars. And look, it's not just the auto industry as a whole. It's a lot of American industry as a whole needs to be revamped, reindustrialized, and brought back to what it is. Because there's a lot that we can be doing over here. We can be building our metro systems way better than before. We can be rebuilding that up. We can be going ahead and look at this. And we'll talk about this night train over here because this is very interesting. Again, who knows how real this will be? We'll see it when we believe. We'll believe it when we see it. But it's cool to see how the way now the industry is changing because less people want to drive. People just want to relax and just get to a place or have something available, and not on an airline. Okay, if you guys saw what's been going on in the airline industry, it's understandable why people don't want to be on the airlines. But anyway, this will be cool, and we'll talk about this, about the night trains, the Dream Stars, the Luna. Is it called the Luna? The Luna train. There we are. And we got those websites up. We'll go ahead and talk about that and whatever else you guys want to talk about. But hey, I'm done talking. The floor is yours. Here we go. Let's bring everybody up on board because I am tired of talking. It's been a long day. Luckily, there were no April Fool's shenanigans at work. It's been kind of testy with all the rounds of just the way the work environment is right now with the economy and everywhere everybody's getting laid off. So everybody's just like, well, we've gone past our rounds of that. So we're all glad we're here. We're alive. We're fine. We feel bad for the people who got nicked, but it's just unfortunately, look, I've gotten, I don't know how many times I've gotten nicked and laid off, and it's just what happens. But anyway, all right, let's bring everybody. If you have your hands up, you're coming in. Get in here. Let's go.
Hey, Dimitri, you doing good, bud?
What's up? Hey, David. Hey, Dump Trucker. Hey, Minder Tree. And now let's bring in Darius. All right, come on. Everybody come on.
Yeah, bring him in.
Okay.
If you guys get...
Speaking of that, I just say this.
I want to say probably one or two things, but let's jump straight to politics with this one because I see it all over Twitter.
Dimitri, I did for April Fool photo of the on screen.
Wait, let me see the April Fool photo. Hold on, let's see.
No.
Oh boy, please,
Hey.
please, no furries.
No,
No.
don't show YouTube.
No,
Do not show YouTube.
no furries, please. No, that's not happening.
So,
Not in this. We're kicking out any sort of furries on this channel. No, this is not. This is a furry free zone.
good.
Get the bats.
Oh, okay. Diesels
All
are
right.
like what you said there, ARC.
Give
They
me one
are-
of those bats.
they
I'll beat them
are.
up for you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yes, please. I know you hate the bats. Hey, I know you. They said no to the bats.
I love the bats. Look at our. Isn't this a wonderful? Is it wonderful, perfect bat collection? The best collection of bats ever. Nothing that the Yankees can have. Yankees and their torpedo bats have nothing on this. They have to cheat in order to win.
The best part. The bats are the best part.
It's plenty for everyone. Just have your pick. The bats, you want them? There's yours, my friend. And everybody has enough
yeah, but,
rupees.
but the only question is do you go for the kneecaps or do you go for the ankles?
You can go for both.
Actually, I'd go for the ankles because then they aren't going to be walking for a while.
Well, you get the knees first, and then you get the ankles.
If you get the knees, they're out good. If you get the stomach, it comes out.
Oh, anyway, alrighty,
but-
everybody. Here.
Hope you know.
Let-
Hope
let
it
me
doesn't-
give you
don't take that out of
Mother
context.
Nature-
Okay,
Mother Nature,
David.
like,
what do you got to say?
all right, well, Mother Nature was super crazy today from a massive tornado outbreak in the Midwest and a freaking volcano erupting in Iceland near the town of Gringovik.
Yeah,
Like,
no, the weather's been crazy
Mother
everywhere.
Nature,
Dude, welcome
Mother
to spring.
Nature-
Welcome to spring, my friend. And what I like to say about
Oh, yeah.
spring is
Never hear me?
spring. Here, so
loud and clear, man.
spring is like fall, but the other way around. And you can't spell fall without all. We are
True.
going to get all of it.
Speaking of that, Demetrius, did you get some of the 3 articles I sent you on Discord earlier?
Yeah, we got a
They're
couple of
super
articles there. Let me
interesting.
see. On did you send it to me? DM.
Yeah, I DM'd them to you on Messenger earlier today.
Yeah, let's get them up there.
Around 6 p.m.
1. Yes, visit site. 2 and 3. But did you say please?
Pretty
You
please.
forgot to say please.
Pretty
Oh
please.
man, I love those Vance memes. Those are hilarious.
Dude. Oh, man.
Dude, if this is the
Oh.
beginning of a millennial ascendancy to politics, we need more. This
Oh,
is
Real quick-
hilarious.
Oh, and they are see with the thing when you said diesels were efficient, they are. When the death
Well,
is
they're
canceled up.
they're slightly more
When the
efficient than
diesel-
gasoline.
Oh, when the but
mean, but
however,
that's
I'm gonna
the-
give you because I had the knowledge. Diesel exhaust fluid. When the truck has that canceled, that thing has like 30% more power.
Yeah, I
They can
can't
go.
stand
Wait a
DEF is such a
DEF.
scam.
DEF is shit. And it's a joke.
You said it, not me. No, and this is coming from somebody.
In fact, I got a chemical burn once handling it with my bare hands.
No, everybody hates DEF. Anybody who has to deal with DEF or anything like that, it's just such a stupid. It just sucks. And this is coming from somebody who worked in the diesel industry. I worked at Cummins. Okay, nobody likes DEF. It's terrible. I don't have to go into that,
With DEF, we have a problem.
but
Demetrius, what? Here came like the 3 articles I sent you. One on Tri-Rail, which you might want to read that one real quick.
all right, let's retry Ro. Why not? Let's look back at my hometown, Miami, where the heat is on all night on the beach of the break of dawn. Except for Tri-Rail, could shut down by 2028 if it can't find new funding. This I did hear about. I didn't know whether to talk about this today or not, but I mean, it's kind of silly in the. I don't know if this is an April Fool's joke, but I mean, look, if you want to talk about an April Fool's joke, Amtrak now you have to take a bus instead of the train on the Cascades, so it's
Well,
it's getting a little
is that
silly.
Is that replacing
that's-
the sets they had to get rid of?
No, that's something else. They found some corrosion and basically their
Oh,
undersides
yeah,
are dirty,
Mhm.
corroded rail cars. But let's
And
talk
they
about
had to
Tri-Rail here.
scrap the cars, so they're now using a bus service.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just
Mhm.
yeah. Why take the
Maybe
train if
we
you can take
should-
the
you know
bus
what?
instead?
Maybe we should have done. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten rid of the older cars because they would have been so great right now.
Small airline?
Yeah, the top.
Yeah, no, we'll have that going back and forth. Yeah, we'll have small airlines taking people back and forth on
Hey,
Amtrak.
Historic railroads or museum railroads. You got any historic equipment we can borrow real quick?
it'll be slightly used though.
Who cares? As long as it's been restored to good passenger service, gets people back and forth, does its job good.
Yeah, I think it's probably the same thing in the rail industry as it is in the automobile industry. That's probably the the stuff that works back then still works. I mean, heck, you
As
see a lot
long
of
as
these.
it gets the job done.
Yeah,
And hey, and besides, it's almost summer. There'll be plenty of AC with the windows down.
oh boy.
I mean, if the car
Hold
lobby
on.
complains that the trains are too rusty, we can send them down to Cuba and have them take their vehicles and use them. Equally as rusty.
The ones that have had like already 3 or 4 Soviet engines already swapped into them. It's like a Bel Air now with a BYD engine in there. This rate.
No. The ones that have had 4 engine swaps since they were built in the 1950s.
I know. It's just crazy how those stuff is just going on.
Hey, commuter railroads, do you have any spare passenger cars we can borrow? That really should have been the first question.
Yeah, but
Anyone
no,
got
it's
any
just...
spare passenger cars we can borrow from?
Oh
Cascade
man,
Service?
what a mess! And that's the problem. It's like, you know,
Ask
why
all the way or yours.
the point that we have to compare the United States to a country like Cuba in terms of our rail service, or just our, forget our rail service, or infrastructure in general. I mean, every time I have to go back home, there's this one road that is filled with, I'm kid you not, 3-foot deep potholes. Okay, that if you get stuck in there have been cars that have driven off to the side, and there's been times that you've had to have, you know, fire trucks and tow trucks to come in because somebody got themselves stuck or have driven off the road to avoid it, and you know, it's just...
Hey man,
like,
that's just part of the roller coaster driving experience.
yeah, it's like an undeveloped country, just all over the United States. Like forget the Midwest or potholes, anything. It's like this is all over the country.
It's a roller coaster. It's just like a roller coaster.
Yeah, like I said, we need to build. We need to start getting people back into jobs and working. It's not that we don't have enough people. We have plenty of people.
Get rid of food stamps. People
Yeah,
are living off them and they aren't getting a job. And they aren't getting a job.
There's a lot of nuance to it, but I mean, like the first and most important thing is just reindustrialize the country, get people back into get especially the younger folks need to be working back again. Or let's put it this way: it's not
refused. Sad statistic is most of them refuse to work.
I disagree with that. I don't think it has to do with people refusing to work. It's just that the work that they're doing now, or the work that's available, it doesn't pay the way that it should. And even if you want to work, here's the thing. How many times have you been into it and you've done 1 billion or like, you know, 1,000 resumes, which I literally did before my last job that I got over here. You throw out, you know, to different applications, 100 applications here, 300 there, and you nary get a word, or sometimes maybe out of 500 you finally get one response, and it's, you know, thank you for responding. Upon reflection and review, we decided to go with another candidate after 3 interviews. The market's just broken.
Dimitri, can I speak on it?
Sure.
It coming from a Gen Z right here. We work more than any other generation, but we're getting sick and tired because we don't want to work for how much we get paid. Like, literally, we don't get paid the amount we get. Like, literally, the amount that we need to get paid to live, we don't even get that. Like, an apartment. If you go back to the 1950s, you've been able to work a part-time job and have an apartment. Not now. Like, everybody calling Gen Z lazy. No, we're not lazy. We're just tired. We're tired of being taken advantage of. We're tired of not getting paid what we're worth. Like, we're tired of getting paid to the point where, like, we want to be paid a livable wage. Like, where we can work a part-time job and have an apartment, or we work a full-time job.
We're pushed out of decent job positions for our abilities
Like, and then here's the other
in favor
thing.
of all of my.
Like,
Go ahead, Darius. If you want to say something, say the whole thing. Go ahead, man.
All
right, David, go ahead. Finish up.
Like, literally, like, here at my workplace, we get paid around $16 to $19 an hour. Ironically, that's still not enough. Like, literally, in order for, like, if I would work a part-time to rent an apartment here in South Carolina, because the cheapest apartment is $1.5K. And the thing is that in order for me to have a part-time job and work that, the hourly pay need to be around $23 an hour. Bare minimum, you know?
Yeah.
How many hours do you work per day?
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. If you work at any of those part-time jobs, they try to find a way to dock you to like 37 or 35 hours, because if you go to 40, they have to pay you full-time benefits, and they don't want to do that. So that is what
you always have to do. If you get a job, do full time because then you'll get the amount they say you're gonna get. And if you ask for more hours, I work 40 plus hours usually per week, and
I work 45 to 50 hours a week, and I still don't get paid an amount to a rent apartment, you know?
are
Yeah.
you full time or part time?
Full time. Full time.
Yeah, guys, look,
I
it's
had them.
You should look for another job. I know, strange suggestion. Maybe look for another job that will pay more.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. So let's say if David were to go ahead and
Well-
find another job, which I'm pretty sure all of you, who have been looking in the comments. In fact, Ricardo Noel in the comments in the chat said this. But this is across all industries. And how many people and how many articles this has come out with about how frustrating it is to find a job that it just keeps going up. Either you're getting ghosted by these companies, or either these jobs are fake job postings in order to go ahead and make it look like to the shareholders, like, oh yeah, we're expanding, we're looking for jobs or whatever. And they're basically fake job postings, or they're H-1B scam postings, because they're not jobs for you, they're jobs for somebody else's friend that's coming into the country. I'm not going to get into that too much because that's infuriating too. The market is just messed up.
Let me bring it up. If I try to find another job and quit my job, that would be too hard for me because, let me be honest, I'm autistic. And for us autistic people, it's harder for us to find jobs. And let me be honest, 80% of the autistic community in the U.S. is either homeless or jobless. When
There
you look
are
at
programs out there
There are
that help
programs out
there.
autistic people get jobs.
Guys, we get it. Let's
I know you want to change the subject right now. My fellow autistic person, it can be challenging. I've been in those situations where you just freeze up in the moment. It sucks.
I'm not
Exactly.
freezing up.
Yeah.
Not before. I'm
Look,
not
and
freezing
well,
up. Where
one of- I get it, David. I get it, David. Look, let's try to. I understand, man. Look, let's do this.
Anyway, we can talk about this afterwards.
Yeah, let's end it at
we'll talk
this,
about
and we'll have to have another discussion about this another time, because I get it. It's completely true, but yeah, the market sucks, and the way that it's designed right now, and the way, I wouldn't say even designed. It's just like put on purpose to really, it's a parasitic market, unfortunately, and there needs to be another way to get around this. And I would go beyond just a livable wage. There needs to be a family wage. So, if one person in the family wants to work, they can be able to support his entire family like it used to be in the United States for the majority of the time. This has only changed within the last 60, 70 years. Between the 1950s and the 60s, this country has gone steadily declined. So there's got to be a way to go back. Not just go back, but by going backwards, we're going forwards. It sounds silly, but that's what it is. We're going back to what works.
If you go down a wrong path,
do.
well, the problem is if you go down a wrong path, that's a dead end. The only way forward is to go back to where you started.
Oh yeah, that is
kinda
true.
have
Yep.
to.
Speaking,
And what
Speaking-
we have to do is, sorry, go ahead.
if we start cracking down on big corporations, let's be honest, the moment we start cracking down on them stuff will change,
Yeah, there's
Well,
got to be a
easiest
whole.
way to
The
do
kicker.
that. Well, the easiest way to do that is to incentivize new small and medium businesses to come out, which that requires changing the regulations and the tax codes, which I keep harping about, but people don't want to talk about it because they're like, oh, let's just add more taxes and more regulations, which hurts the
More
very
taxes, more
existing
money.
small and medium businesses and prevents new ones from forming.
Yeah, the taxes
Which-
and most of these taxes and
That, but
regulations
also-
are made by the big company lobbyists in order to prevent new businesses from coming out.
Yeah, that is true.
That and the more taxes, the less you get paid.
Yeah.
Because they have to save that money, more money to pay for the taxes.
Yeah. Let's bring in Grand Trunk Line because he's had his hand up. I forgot to bring him in here, so let's go ahead and put him in here. But going back to Tri-Rail over here, which I will let's not derail the argument back to where we were at over here. So let's see, 80-mile passenger lines relies heavily on state and federal funding, but with federal stimulus money drying up and the state signaling its plans to eventually cut off funding altogether, Tri-Rail officials are looking to Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade counties to save the day. So this is what we said before. And the thing is that with now a lot of this, what we've seen in the last 4 to 5 years is basically the economy being artificially propped up by the federal government. All this money that you were seeing, this GDP that was completely fake, more or less, was being propped up by government spending. Now that that government spending has been pulled back, or much of it has been threatened to be pulled back, all the funding that you're seeing in a lot of these states that have been basically taking off of this, they're now freaking out of like, well, now where are we going to get the money? But this is why we have to start thinking local, and we need to start thinking more by the state. And the state needs to start coming in and just saying, hey, look, there's got to be different ways that we could be able to run something like Tri-Rail. I mean, Tri-Rail's been running the same train since before I've been born, more or less. Okay, that's kind of a joke, but it's kind of true as well, because I mean, I've ridden Tri-Rail regularly to go and commute to work. The thing is, like, there's got to be other ways to go ahead and run it and operate it that doesn't exist on massive federal funding.
And the problem is most of the passenger rail companies have been taken over by the government, either through nationalization or pseudo-nationalization through Amtrak, and they essentially just become a political football that gets kicked around every single time a change in administration happens. But if you say, all right, let's change the regulations to make it easier for new companies to form, and then all of a sudden it's its own company, it's not that difficult to set it up in such a way that it at minimum breaks even, if not making a fair amount of money, like Brightline's doing right now in Florida. Because if you set it up right, it easily makes money. But the problem is there's so much regulation and red tape in the way that it's hard to start up said companies to begin with. And we're like, oh, we need to get more state funding. Oh, we need more federal funding. It's like you're setting up the system to fail, and then when it fails, you blame everything else but the system that you have in force, and then you want to add in more complexity to an already unsustainable system.
It's true.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
I can promise you this: you set up the regulations right, and you privatize Tri-Rail, they will replace every single piece of their equipment and easily be profitable within the first 5 years, if not the first 2.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. A lot of decommuter rails, like the North Star, like, let me be honest. I brought up the North Star about a month ago, and good news is that it might be still around, you know?
Yeah, a lot of the different passenger rail companies that essentially got pseudo bought out and nationalized under Amtrak, many of them could have survived and thrived even until today, but we just decided, no, let's keep the regulations overbearing and the taxes high, that it made Amtrak the only viable alternative. But if you say, all right, let's make it a much more fair and level playing ground, all of a sudden it's like, hey, the trains are working again. Do you want to talk about either A, upgrading the rails to be much better, maybe double tracking in a lot of areas, or do you want to build out a passenger only rails to go alongside the existing freight lines?
How Elon Musk looks like, how Elon Musk literally initially looked towards the biggest barrier towards young people like us getting jobs, H-1B visas, is in a way kind of reasons why he deserved the peaceful parts of the protests on Tesla dealerships.
I doubt that most of the people were even
burning or the vandalism or.
I doubt those people were even burning his cars because of H-1Bs. That's like the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, a lot of the protests and the more violent side of the protest against Elon is his open support of Trump, especially during the election.
Yeah.
And it's only gotten worse.
I mean, when everybody's Hitler, who is at this point? So I mean, it's just such a silly thing. But to the point that we were talking about now, guys, about private companies coming up, and now you're right there, David.
Where? Yeah, I got a good meme for that.
Okay, send it in the chat. Send it in the chat. But
yeah,
we want to talk about this. So this just came out today. So trains.com put out there, and they're going to be looking at two different companies over here. So Dreamstar, California, one of the two California companies that are trying to come back with overnight passenger trains, which used to be such a thing, a beautiful thing that we used to have here in the United States. I mean, if you guys ever seen, White Christmas, or any movies where you have a train and people going overnight, or North by Northwest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a beautiful time in America, and it was a beautiful thing to have this sort of stuff. Where you could be able to take a train, and I've taken overnight trains a lot of times on Amtrak, on the Silver Star, Silver Meteor. It's a wonderful experience. But now there are private companies aiming to bring that back. So now that's the thing. In a real market, if we see something that has good, and there's good for just not just for the economy, but good for people and good for everything else, that's what we want. It's an all around, more or less good for people. So Dreamstar, Luna Train, these are two different companies that are now coming out and trying to bring this back over here. So you guys want to talk about that?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dimitri, the meme.
All right, let's look at the meme.
Dimitri,
Yeah.
I did the meme.
Yeah.
It's funny.
The memes. The memes, Jack.
Well, he has 2 in a row.
Okay, we got two here. All right, let's see.
Well, the Amtrak is now starting to see its competition, which is
Yeah,
kind
I
of good
mean,
because we needed the competition.
Yeah.
I mean, overnight
This
trains
will,
are still
this
viable.
will challenge, yes, and this will challenge Amtrak to do better, which
Yeah.
they need to do better.
Oh,
Yeah.
look,
Because right now, many of the overnight trains that you can look up on Amtrak, many of those are more expensive than just renting a car and driving to your destination and back. And it'll take about the same
or
amount of
just
time.
owning a car.
Yeah, it's like, you can take this train across the country. It's only going to be a few $100s per person, but I can get on a plane and fly it there.
They need
in
to
a few
modernize
hours.
their interiors drastically because some of these car interiors are looking a whole lot better than an Amtrak interior, which looks
It's
like
Give
It's
give
that awkward
Amtrak
moment-
credit. They're now trying to get in the Siemens cars and everything else. So they're
Yep.
looking. Let's put it this way: they're better than what they were 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Amtrak modernized
they
those
need to
cars
find a
like a
replacement
decade
for
ago.
those double deckers. They need to find a replacement.
The Superliner.
And they
Yeah.
aren't the Superliner. Thank you.
Old.
Speaking of that, Dimitri, the other article I'm about to bring up is of the Maine DOT. I don't know what they're on, but the Maine DOT is about to make one of the most terrible mistakes out there.
Oh boy,
What are they gonna do?
what's going
Well,
on with
I-
Maine?
Well, I did send you the link to the article in private chain earlier, just like with the other one. But
Okay, here I go. Yeah, I see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring that up. Thought I had it here. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, nearly 25 miles of rail line in southern Maine to be abandoned. Maine DOT owns the land. The tracks between Portland and Auburn.
I think I heard
Sit
about this
on.
somewhere.
Okay, are they going to change this into a rail trail now? Is this what's happening?
yep,
Oh,
they're
they
going to
just-
try.
Okay, to abandon
You know what?
24.23
It's better
rail
than-
line.
It depends.
Okay,
It would depend who owns the line.
apparently
Is
the
it being used?
yeah
and
apparently Maine DOT owns the land.
Sorry, who owned it? My bad. Who originally owned the line?
Let's see here. It's not saying so far.
What?
The
Inactive since 2015, according to federal findings. Yeah, there's nothing here.
Some
Who
Western
owns it?
Railroad something? Must be.
Yeah, I mean, the simplest way is
So
Well,
okay, yeah.
Wait, that-
I'm sorry. Never mind. I completely missed it. Oh man, it's been a long day. St. Lawrence and Atlantic Railroad Company plans to
Lawrence
abandon a
Atlantic.
24.23 rail line. So they met all the regulatory requirements to abandon it. They're just saying, yeah, we're done.
They don't want to even attempt at doing a stinking scenic rail line in Maine, of course.
I mean, the simplest way of solving the issue is say, all right, new federal regulations on railroads. Any existing railroad already in existence, period. If it's going to be sold, can be sold immediately to any new railroads and then any existing railroads before it can be turned into anything else. That would be the
what it
that
should
would be the
is
quick
before
fix.
the new rule should be.
I'm not quite sure if they tried to sell this line in the past or not, but there's not really any sort of context
Maybe
here in
they
this
did
article.
try, and then the DOT just said, "You know what?
Yeah,
We'll take it off your hands for you."
that's probably what it is. Look, I'm not gonna get too much into this.
And you know what? Hey, rail trails are great. Biking is great.
Yeah, there's probably a lot more to this story than somebody
Probably.
local would know exactly, or more. They would know more to the story of what's going on than we're seeing it.
Yeah.
25 miles of
Better
rail
than-
line. It's sad, but again, I don't know the full context of this.
It's better than outright abandonment.
And
Clear it out.
another thing,
Plant trees.
another thing with Tesla.
We're just all over the place
Another
with
thing
topics here.
Tesla cars.
One at a time.
Right with it, there's actually a better alternative to Tesla cars. It's called Commuter Cars Tango. It's about as wide as a motorcycle, and it's practical because 98% of single occupancy drivers in the United States drive with like 4 open seats and thousands of pounds of hunk of metal right around them just to get to work or a few miles around.
And what's that? It's that.
The problem
Well,
is like
pretty much
how
everybody
practical is
is.
something
Although-
like that. But anyway,
The space is noticeable, but the weight for safety, yes, to an extent. But the big hunk that's taking up all the road, that's what's causing all the trouble with the road infrastructure.
All right, then simple solution
And
is
that's
everybody
and that's
drive a
just-
smart
Quick
car.
question.
And it
Is
takes
my
it-
big
and it
dump
takes
truck
your
taking up too much
fingers
room on the
to-
road? It's only 2 feet.
yeah, there needs to just be
That's
look.
true.
If you're just driving a truck just to drive a quarter ton or a half quarter or half ton truck, and there's nothing and you've never used a bed, and you're just there to just have it lifted and just cause trouble, you may not need a truck. It's just as simple as that. But I mean, look, there needs to be. The problem is that now with EPA regulations
I
and
wish
the
the
cafe.
Commuter Cars Tango had got a production line.
Yeah, but that's
instead of
here's the thing with those
Tesla
cars,
did.
and we can go back
because
to.
those were much more practical.
I know, but here's the thing. And this guy says it. Look, if you guys want to look at this, this Tucker
It's
Carlson.
like a motorcycle, but
I got it. Look, if you
Let
Look at that, look-
ARC speak, please.
excuse me, I'm speaking. Look, we can make better cars. We can make smaller cars. You go to Japan or you go to Europe. There are smaller, more practical automobiles that are much more efficient. That are just more practical.
hey, got the link to the Commuter Cars.
Okay. The problem is,
Yeah.
again, it comes to the cafe standards. So you have the wrong certain standards that are coming in, the wrong regulations. That to make something like this, like what Casey Pooch designed over here, you can't sell it in the United States because it's basically illegal. It's more efficient. It works. It's better. You can probably make it for cheaper. You can probably, if you mass produce it, 20 to 25K. That's a lot cheaper than most normal cars right now. Problem is, it's more or less illegal. So there needs to be a way to. We just look. We're getting steps done. Steps are happening. Do we want it to make it? Do we want these steps to occur faster? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
it's just a step-by-step process. And I think this sort of stuff that we're seeing on X online and people talking about this sort of stuff, how messed up not just the economy is, but the regulations behind it, the apparatus that is expanding and keeping this mediocre, this whole system of mediocrity being kept in place on purpose to keep the system going, keep making money at the expense of everybody else. It's got to end, and it's coming to an end. It's the gears are crunching all over the place. So we're seeing the end of it at some point. Whether we're going to be old or too old to see it, who knows?
Probably will be too old to see it. That's usually the American way.
Yeah. But look, there's good things happening like this. Look, this sort of stuff, like Dreamstar Lines. Okay, Hotel on Rails, Journey in Style. This is great. These type of ideas are becoming now more mainstream. People are talking about this. I mean, it's getting more press than. You don't hear the Hyperloop anymore. It's gone. It's disappeared. We don't have to hear Hyperloop anymore.
Hyperloop was sadly just a failed experiment.
Thank goodness. Thank God. Thank you that it is gone. The Hyperloop is gone. It's not coming back. Okay, but look, these sorts of ideas. Okay, and
Do you remember?
people talking
Do you
about it.
remember the tests they did with Hyperloop?
Oh no.
No. Let's take it there.
Which tests? Because there's been like so many underwhelming tests that these
All
Hyperloop companies
the
have.
competitions they did.
Oh wait, yeah, the first Musk competitions that they had, it was like a tube like somewhere in Los Angeles that they just threw. Then they destroyed it because nobody was using it anymore. That was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
No
that
one
was for
wanted to
sure.
use it.
Yeah.
It was just like, why'd you build this now that you don't even own it? And
Yeah.
it was a failed idea.
Yeah, that's a failed idea, but here are now
Right.
better ideas coming in. Here's Luna Train. Turn nights into new destinations. Luna Train is launching night trains in the United States and Canada that serve major cities as a better alternative to flying and driving. So, yeah, again, these are just kind of ideas. They're not really.
Yeah, the kind of ideas, they
Are
do
these
make
like
sense, but
overnight diesel passenger trains?
I think they're better than actually
Are
having
they
bus
being a
services.
little bit more? How specific are they with these trains? Like, are these gonna be more of a fancy? It's not like get place to place as soon as you can.
I'm saying, I hope it's not.
Yeah, I
hope
think
it's the
they're
same
using
cost
so
as taking the bus.
from what I understand correctly, they're using the current infrastructure that's already there. They're supplying the trains and the operations and the service, and they're probably going ahead and renting the right of way from, let's say. So let's look at this map over here. If you're in the know of how what rail lines are in motion over here, what class 1 rail lines are using what, you can kind of tell which rail lines are being used over here. But of course they'd skip me here in Indianapolis. So hey, it's just what it is. But hey, you can get from Chicago all the way to Miami or whatever. Again, they're just kind of throwing out the idea of what's possible with this. This is not what they're coming out with. This is what's possible, what they can do. Luna Train isn't a one-off project from city A to B. We're planning to establish a network of night trains that bring novel service to underserved travelers. So, and look at this. They at least have some CG and some stuff to kind of just show you and give you an idea. Private cabins are priced competitively with airline seats of the same service class on the same route, which is good to have, having that competitive pricing, because Amtrak's pricing is kind of all over the place. There's really no science to Amtrak's pricing most of the time. I get it. Neither is there really any sort of real science to airline pricing. I mean, there is a science and there is a math to it, but it's not. It's kind of scummy. Let's be quite honest. But yeah, this is cool.
yeah.
And hey, look, they're hiring careers.
True, very true. But I'll do this one. If they create the service, I bet you $50 right here, right now. Everyone else is my witness that they would probably get the service operational between San Francisco and LA than before California High Speed Rail.
Oh yeah, that's without a doubt. Either of these. I think Luna Train is focusing more on the eastern side of the past on the east side of the Rockies, and Dreamstar is focusing between San Francisco, Los Angeles. Which honestly, I think if there's going to be one of the two that I'll have to bet on, it's probably going to be Dreamstar lines, because they're focusing here on one. And this is something that they can probably be able to do. Plus, if you read the article, going over here, and this goes into sort of the history behind what night trains used to be in the United States, and the glory, the glamour, the glitz of everything. How it was a beautiful time. So here we are. As previously recorded, the company has track access memorandum of understanding with Union Pacific. So again, they're using Union Pacific's rail lines. Eastman says Dreamstar is now in drafting stages with MOUs with Metrolink and LA Union Station, and we'd like to get to downtown San Francisco. If it looks like Caltrain is going to be taking some time, we can start with San Jose and build from there. So they have options too. So they're looking like, okay, well, Caltrain is not going to help us over here. We'll just go to San Jose. We'll just do something. Not like what California High Speed Rail is doing, which they could have started from San Diego to Los Angeles, which would have been easier. No, they started in the hardest political place to do it, in the Central Valley, which is much more red than the rest of the state. And they're taking forever. Which, honestly, at this point, it's fair to say that California High Speed Rail Authority doesn't want to build a high-speed rail, because it would have built the high-speed rail project years ago.
Oh, I know.
Don't
Talk
worry.
about years ago.
Don't worry. They'll have it operational before 2050 at this rate.
They're gonna really. Here's what the idea is.
Look, it's my solution.
They're gonna build it, and then when we're only like a few months away from the Olympics, it'll be completed.
This is just nuts. Oh no, they're not going to be done before the Olympics. But look, speaking of the Olympics, this company, okay, so financing efforts are ongoing with Dreamstar. Recently, a notable backer in Southern California, home builder Bill Lyon, who disclosed in mid-March that he made a $100,000 investment in the company. Again, it's small, but it's at least a start to get them at least some marketing material to get them going, maybe fund some travel to go to commission meetings, whatever it needs to do. Asked during the February webinar about the start of service, Dominic and Asmund estimated constructing the equipment would take about 18 to 24 months. That's fair. And service could begin, worst case, before the 2028 Summer Olympics. Because all they need to do is just make the trains and run on the lines. The infrastructure is there, so they can do it.
ARSC, you know what's going to happen? They're going to wait to build it. Oh, we're only a few months away from the Olympics. Hey, build the line now. Tracks in place, line's already going.
Look,
and then after the Olympics, Olympics are over. Go ahead, take it apart.
Yeah,
and we'll make it look like it never actually happened.
Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, I think that probably Brightline will get it done because they said initially they were going to get it before the Olympics. Now they're saying they're going to get it like a couple months after the Olympics. Honestly, I think they could get it done before then.
That is actually hilarious.
I mean, if they could get it done before then, it would be. I think that would
be a miracle.
Yeah.
If it got done.
Let's see, accommodations, amenities, room, shop. Okay, let's see news. But yeah, these guys are definitely. I'm having a mass list of interviews that I have to run at some point. That will happen. I'm getting this stuff done this year. I know I keep saying that, but I mean, man, dude, it's been tough at work and everything, and I'm starting my new position and everything, so it's been stressful. But look, I'm at least keeping these live streams going.
You got this, man.
We got it. But anyway,
you're making sales. You're gonna sell $500,000 worth of construction equipment. You got it.
We're getting there. Okay, so yeah,
it's going somewhere, so it's gonna help.
Yeah, I mean this is
speaking of Minnesota, it's starting to be dumb too. You know, they're talking about killing off a passenger train line from St. Paul to
Duluth. I saw that.
They've been doing that for years.
They've been trying to happen for years, which they need to do an Amtrak train to Duluth, but the problem is money.
Yeah, it's a
money.
That's the question.
It's not money. It's who it would screw over the airlines.
I don't think people are taking a plane to and from Duluth to St. Paul. They're going to fly.
There's no major airport between here and Fargo.
But on the other hand, we got them promising new in Salt Lake City. I sent the article about that, so let's get to some good news.
Yeah, that's a good idea there. Okay, Stadler plant expansion in Salt Lake City gets state support. So there you go. Again, we're getting jobs back like here. We have to go ahead. And Stadler, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a Swiss company. So there they are. Now they're building they're building factories over here, which is the whole point of reindustrializing the country.
That will help commuter lines improve their trains.
Yeah. There you go. I was right. Space company.
Metro lines. Like Stadlers are not bad looking. They're pretty good looking for American equipment.
Oh, dump trucks! I was trying to say something.
I apologize.
Here's the funny thing. Saying Utah, right where Salt Lake City is, Utah is a red state. And they got a freaking good commuter rail system. Like, let's be honest. They got them damn good commuter rail system in Utah. And funny thing, they're not a blue state. They're a red state. It's kind of funny.
Well, hang on. Is it a blue city or red city?
Red city.
That's pretty good. But also, that is... If you really look, they are, yes. If you looked at the map of Salt Lake City, that is like as straight line as straight line can almost get.
Yep.
Oh, I know.
It's a long corridor.
It's a corridor city.
Yeah, it's in between two mountain ranges,
really easy is to go have like one or two lines going north to south.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
Jane,
literally
into
one
that,
line with a bunch of branches.
See if I
and
can bring it up
Utah
here.
is doing great for commuter rail system. That for sure.
Mm-hmm. They have pretty good passenger numbers.
Not just that, but they are going back to mixed use development. They're prioritizing transit over cars, which it's up and big.
Because
Which
they're
that's something we fully support.
yeah, that's great because if you the interstates in Salt Lake City,
You can
there's a
congestion.
lot more than there should be.
Mhm. And seeing into that, they focus more on their team. Also, Texas is doing something interesting with their stuff. I just sent an article about that too.
All right. What we got there on let me see. Where's you send it to me on the DMs or
It on the live chat. In the live chat.
all right, let me go ahead and bring that back up. Let's see. I see state legislation seeks to kill funding for Twin Cities Duluth. Where are we?
Just go.
All right, here we
You'll
are.
see that.
Let me see. She served on the Texas Railroad Commission. Was the first woman elected Austin mayor. First woman to serve as Texas Wait. Okay, are we saying this is good news for Texas or bad news for Texas?
Good news because it looked like she might actually save the rail projects there. You know.
I mean, it said that she died at 85, though.
Oh!
You have the wrong one. You have the wrong one.
Okay, do I have the wrong article? I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Here we go.
Yeah, that might be an issue. if
I
you
was
got
gonna
the wrong
say
one.
I don't think that's gonna. I mean,
It's not gonna help.
that's
I don't think you posted the right article.
okay.
That's a goof.
David, I'm
And
looking.
guys, if I go silent for a second, if I go silent for a minute, that means my Discord crash.
Okay, I'm trying to find. Oh wait, hold on. This is another article we need to talk about. This trial about Norfolk Southern. That's let's talk about that
Yeah,
one over
I
here.
read
So,
that yesterday.
if you want to talk about some bad companies and people who do bad things, here we go. Trial will determine.
Settle the sixth settlement.
Yeah.
What's going on with Norfolk Southern?
Okay, so the trial will determine who will pay $600 million settlement in disastrous Norfolk Southern derailment. I mean, why do we need a trial to say that Norfolk did this and they're not going to pay this?
Norfolk Southern.
Yeah.
What's the proof it wasn't Norfolk Southern?
They want here they go. They want two other companies to help pay for the $600 million class action lawsuit. So they filed a motion. Wait. To force the rail car owner GATX and the chemical manufacturer Oxy Vinyls to share the cost of the settlement because Norfolk believes those companies are partially responsible for what happened in East Palestine, Ohio on February 3rd, 2023.
You know what? Hang on. If you haven't seen bullshit, that is bullshit.
Time out. Who owned the vehicle?
Yeah.
That would be.
Let me see. Wait a second. Wait.
Who failed to maintain it? Who failed to maintain their equipment?
Guys, you sure that's not United Airlines that was running that? The Delta.
I wish.
I think it was Delta doing that.
Yeah, this wasn't the Delta flight that flipped over, right? It wasn't that one. I'm pretty sure. Wait a second. This is Norfolk Southern's rail line. This is Norfolk Southern's car. Oh yeah, that must be Norfolk Southern.
I don't think they own the car, but they're still responsible for the maintenance of the car.
Yeah. So the next time, wait a second. If this works, you can use this precedent to say, look, officer. I know I just killed like 1 billion people. DUI, but you know what? This was Corona's fault. This was Corona's fault. I had Corona in my system. It was Corona that did this to me.
Corona and Toyota, since you were driving a Toyota
yeah,
Corolla.
I mean, this is such a no. This is
was it Corona or PSR? Because I think I know what the answer is.
It's they were running PSR and they were doing it. Look, and they knew.
Scheduled railroading is to blame, which is still Norfolk Southern's fault.
Yeah, this is just absolutely
PSR
just bonkers.
is dangerous.
Yeah,
you cannot do it.
This is
it
bonkers.
put people out of jobs.
Is it-
All right, I'm back. My
Yeah.
Discord crashed.
Yeah. So David, did
Yeah,
you
we
hear
were
that
not-
Norfolk
yeah, we were
Southern?
talking about PSR.
Yeah. Wait. Well, Norfolk Southern wants Oxy. Let me see. Oxy Vinyls. And GATX, which owns or made the rail cars, to pay for their $600 million class action lawsuit, or at least share in their class action settlement.
Yeah, you know what I do? It's very simple. We get the entire board of Norfolk Southern. We sit them down, and then we say, "This is not going to work."
Wait.
And if they start to speak, you give them the backhand.
Wait. What's
to the
what's-
face.
Let me see. What's in the
Repeatedly.
background there? What's in the background? Oh, we got plenty to go around. There we go. Problem solved. All right.
Hey,
Next-
hey, Norfolk Southern execs, I got a baseball bat in my trunk.
Okay.
Be careful.
It's like,
Hey.
if you're going to talk, it's like, all right, I guess we're going to start with the CTO on this one.
Let's remind everybody. Let's remind everybody and everybody out there.
No,
This is
Norfolk
all in
Southern.
Minecraft. This is all Minecraft fun. Okay, we're not. Look, let's be honest. Okay, this it's it's funny.
We
It's
don't
hilarious.
mean them to physically harm
Yeah,
them.
but
We want
what's-
to mentally harm them.
what's real is the absolute frustration and injustice. Okay, and that's the main issue and the main problem. And
the people
and it's
haven't
unfortunate.
been paid enough.
Yeah.
The people still haven't been paid the compensation of the disaster.
Yeah, no, this is yeah.
And they had to pay a tax to get that money. So they had to pay more money just to get more money. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we're speaking about
yeah,
court
I-
cases, I mean, Minecraft does, it is now a valid excuse. So, yeah.
I will
Look
look at
the
and
I
if the
just you.
and I hope the lawyer for Norfolk Southern's like, you do realize this is your fault,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like you guys aren't winning this fight, and if he isn't like that,
yeah.
I'm gonna be like,
No, but we're gonna keep a watch on this. This trial is expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. So, I mean, look at this. And
probably
wait,
like 2 to
wait.
3 years.
Here you are. So this is a Texas-based the Oxy Vinyls here saying this trial is nothing more than Norfolk Southern's continued attempt to shift the blame, attention, and financial responsibility for its train derailment, response, and vent and burn decision to anyone other than itself. The Texas-based company said Oxy Vinyls did not cause the derailment, its tanks cars did not breach, and it did not make the decision to vent and burn the VCM vinyl chloride monomer cars. So there you go.
Norfolk Southern chose to let those cars burn.
Yeah.
Norfolk Southern chose to do that. They didn't say we need to put this out before it gets worse. No, they just let it
Oh, even
burn.
worse, they could have
That's all.
prevented this. That's the whole thing. Like, if the minute that the brake started to go on fire, the train should have just stopped. Just keep on going.
It depends. Did the locomotive detect the brakes catching on fire in time before they could stop the train in time? If the brakes
did,
caught
yeah.
fire, they maybe they knew about it, hit the brakes, but by the time they were coming to a stop, it was too late. Boom.
But they're not supposed to be sent to the cab, but indeed the engineer know that there's an issue with the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was told not to stop.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, I would have violated those orders and came to a stop like, fix this car, fix this. I don't care
Oh
what
yeah,
it
I
costs
would
you.
stop train too. You know.
All right.
Oh, speaking of that,
Mhm. And you
I
know what?
said-
That also is management. Management would tell them to stop, so that's on management for not playing it safe.
Yeah, this is the consequences of precision scheduled railroading, and it's just it's the fastest race to the bottom using the equipment as much as possible with as little maintenance as possible in order to save as many pennies as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because it brings up your operating ratio.
The bridge is saving as much money as it can.
My
but don't
truck
worry.
broke today. Things break, and they just think they can just let it go.
Look,
it's
yeah.
bullshit.
And it's
But
a
don't
poor
worry,
way to run a
management is
business.
just-
It's absolutely terrible way.
But don't worry,
Oh, yeah.
management is sitting there going all shock Pikachu face, and it's like, oh no, it's the consequences of my actions.
Oh no, the consequences of my actions have come up to me. Quick, let's shift the blame. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Speaking of
David
guys,
also
we're gonna
had 2 more memes
we're
that
gonna we're gonna
people want to see.
we're gonna end this at 9:15. So let's go ahead and start bringing this this train to a close. Which, by the way, I think you know what I hope we have more trains like this Art Deco style that I keep bringing up over here. I like this style.
Yeah, Art Deco sounds pretty cool.
It's
This
comfy.
train goes,
No.
I need a bullet train across the country a few more times.
Not Art Deco, but a new style of a new rendition of Art Deco.
Neo Art
Oh,
Deco.
yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Everywhere.
I just
No,
I just
I
want
wanna see
something nice. Just have can we have nice things in this country again?
And we have
Dimitri-
nice audits. We have nice designers.
Yeah, is that red? It might be a dark oak, maybe a red oak.
Yeah, no, I think that's just somebody made this in CG, but I mean, hey, it's not bad. You could imagine this on an actual train car, but yeah, I mean,
Dimitri, I got 2 funny memes.
all right, let's see the memes. There better not be any furries in there.
No, they're not.
No.
I
No
checked.
furries.
Sorry.
Okay, there you are.
Don't worry, we'll ban Demetrius for his furry art later.
Oh no. There you are. Okay, let's see what's next over here, and we have Thomas the fan engine. There we go,
But-
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just the way that he's
Star Force
staring
wants
at
to
you.
join
Look,
this
look at,
fertilized
that's kind of
media.
unnerving. It's like they always find some way to make Thomas the most unnerving looking thing in the products. Always.
Whoever made Thomas EXE, I will find you.
Oh man. Okay. Oh,
What
Star
did they
Force
do
wants to
to
speak.
him?
Hold on. Let's go ahead and bring him on here. There we go. Now everybody's in.
Okay.
Yay. Okay.
I will end up buying this.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Star Force. You there, man?
Hello?
It's hard.
Yeah, I am.
There you go.
Yeah, I am.
How you doing, man?
All right, we can hear you.
So I've been hearing talk about this Liberation Day.
It's
And
Liberation
that's
Day.
the one that's where we are bringing jobs back to the U.S., right?
Apparently, they started it, and that's going to start with the 25% tariffs. Yep.
I hope they bring
Yeah.
back some John Deere jobs. Boy.
Because I was actually on the South Shoreline
Oh.
on Sunday,
Oh, nice.
South Bend, and I passed through Gary, Indiana, and it seriously looks like a war zone. Like, it looks like a war zone. Like,
Gary,
nothing-
Indiana has always been a war zone. Always has, always will be.
I wouldn't say always has or always will be. I mean, look, it was it was one of the best cities in the United States, probably one of the richest cities. I think, like, per capita, it was better off than it was like on the top 3 with Oakland and Detroit. I mean, it was one of the best. And then, yeah, it just that was it. We all know the story of what happened to poor Gary.
Rust Belt kind of just. Well, the problem
Yeah.
that problem is the Rust Belt. Indianapolis, I think they kind of got out of it, but
Yeah, and that's
everyone
mainly
else-
due to the logistics and pharmaceutical industry because Eli Lilly is based here, and plus you have a whole lot of trucking and logistics industries over here. I mean, FedEx, after Memphis, Tennessee, has their second largest distribution center here. Yeah, so
Every interstate goes to Indianapolis,
Yeah.
Indiana.
it's the crossroads of America for a reason.
It's crossroads.
Except for like I-90 that runs along the border, but that goes straight to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, Gary, Indiana might be a dumpster fire incarnate, but at least it's not Detroit.
Detroit at this point. You know what? That 2 reasons why I didn't vote Democrat. When the woman said, "If you elect Kamala Harris, the world will be like Detroit."
Oh man.
I don't know if I want to be like Detroit.
I mean, look, and I'll be fair to Detroit.
Half of Detroit
It
is
is-
just gangs, and drugs.
Detroit is marginally better than Gary, and again, I'll stress marginally better,
Yeah, if I
and
had
that's
to choose,
mainly due.
if I had to choose Gary or Detroit, I probably would go with Detroit.
Yeah, and that's mainly due to the headquarters of the Big Three and, some other businesses that are still based there. And there's still a little bit of manufacturing, but nowhere near the amount that it used to be in its heyday. No, nowhere close.
And it won't return, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Indiana, I mean, look, Gary and a whole bunch of places in Indiana, I mean, there were multiple, like several dozen car manufacturers, and they're like small, like mom and pop manufacturers. I mean,
It's where the
Duesenberg.
manufacturing began.
Yeah, Duesenberg was one of
The
like
world.
the premier automobile makers in the world. I mean, like it took years for the automobile market to match the performance and the quality of Duesenbergs. Okay, and it was based here in the and look, and you had so many like other cars like Packard and a whole bunch of other stuff based here, and you know, and that's the thing. We can bring that again. We can have small mom and pops. So like if you have, let's say, you know, a couple of friends and a dream, and you say, hey, you want to be like this guy over here that was on Tucker Carlson, and say, look, I want to bring a car to market. I want to bring something new. You should be able to do
The
that.
problem is that here's the really big problem, though, is that all your general car designs have been taken, so you can't just like come up with a new one without it looking similar to something else.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
you can.
that's true.
I mean, it's look at the Cybertruck. I mean, that doesn't look like anything else on the road. I mean, it's
It really does not.
I love. I look.
I'm counting the Cybertruck in that because what can you do now?
Yeah, and I will say this: I love the design. I hate the execution of it because it doesn't run well as a truck. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't function as a truck.
Literally,
Yeah.
it literally becomes a metal fridge
The most
when you put it in water.
Yeah, it's mostly a
the most
refrigerator.
practical vehicle on the road would be something like a cross between a commuter car. The most practical kind of car that would be on the road for 90% of the people on 90% of the drives would be a cross between that commuter car's Tango and a Velomobile.
No, I'm going to go a step further.
Oh,
The
yeah.
car that people need to be
That would
riding
take
in,
up-
the automobile that people need to be riding in. I'll change it here. Automobile that most people need to be riding in is on a bus. Because most of these people can't drive, and honestly, just go on a bus. Like, you know, well, what are we gonna do with the people who can't go to take a bus? Like, you have rural commuter buses. There you go, done. Simple as that. Is this an
There you
April
go.
Fool's joke? But you know what? There you go. No, sorry.
You
Yes.
got Indianapolis, where you put the
Demetrius.
bus station right in the middle of the interstate.
Yeah,
Tesla bought
what's
commuter
Pretty
cars.
well, but
Tesla
You
bought
can-
commuter cars.
Yeah.
but what's wrong with
Elon Musk
bad
bought
drivers?
commuter cars.
But what's wrong with bad
He should
drivers?
have done that earlier.
But what's wrong
Well-
with bad drivers charging at you and complaining about their road rage because
Actually-
you were not driving 30 miles an hour over the speed limits?
well, yeah. And this just did occur to me. If you hate Tesla and you hate Elon, stop using Starlink. That's owned by Elon.
Yeah, I
Stop
was gonna say a
using
lot.
X.
Like a lot of people are using this sort of stuff, and I mean, look, it's like that. We have a weird relation when it comes to Elon over here. It's like, but there's some things
You
that
know
we
what,
think is cool, and there's something that he's just dorky and dumb
And a
on.
lot more than what I've mentioned. They have a lot of business. You know, he has a lot of business with other companies,
Yeah.
and more than I've named off for sure. And so much so it would impact your daily life, like make your daily life harder.
Yeah, to a degree, I'd say. I mean, I should be on X a heck of a lot more than I'm. What I do, like maybe post once a week and then that's it. But I should be doing a heck of a lot more. I should be doing a heck of a lot more. Period. But hey, it's what it is. I mean, it's you know, you can only stretch so much far as you can. But speaking of stretching out, guys, we're at 9:16 p.m. So I think we'll just start to
Alright.
let's start to slow it down here. But again, this was fun
Get to our
conversation
final
for
messages,
April Fools. So I hope you guys had a good time here.
Yeah, I heard.
All right, got some good news with the countdown. We got less than 25 days for the available liberties.
There we go. It's coming. Let's see if we can have a
Hey,
date for that.
April
That'll be
Fool-
funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually heard they're canceling. I heard they canceled their Available Liberty.
Oh yeah, shoot, David. Yeah, we gotta find that article. Yeah, because I saw that the Available Liberty's being canceled, man. Okay, all right. I didn't get you there. All right, April Fools. The Available Liberty is still on for now. For now, let's see. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you all for joining on this epic live stream of the American Rail Club. Don't forget, I'm gonna give the whole spiel here. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be able to see more of the American Rail Club as we come on. And at some point, that video will come out. At some point. Here's April. And this may not be an April Fool's, but we're going for April. I was gonna say March, but now it's April. And then don't worry, I'll say it by September. It's like, it's coming out in October, guys. Don't worry. But anyway, that's, let me jinx all the bad stuff so that doesn't happen. But all right, folks, thank you all for coming on board. Don't forget to fasten your seatbelts when the light comes on, and no smoking on board. We will see you all next time. Take care and Godspeed.
Godspeed,
blessed
buddy.
day.
Have a good day
Na
and
na
happy
na na, hey hey, goodbye.